Expect him to do it, and what will we learn from those documents?
Well, I think you'll learn that the FBI was on notice that Christopher Steele was not a reliable informant when it came to Trump, that he was being paid for by the Democratic Party, that his work product had not been vetted, and that he was out to get Trump, and they used the dossier anyway. I think you're going to learn a lot about how the counterintelligence investigation actually opened up, that Papadopoulos wasn't working with the Russians. They put it in his head that the Russians stole Clinton emails. All this will be coming sooner rather than later, and I'm glad the president waited to after Mueller was done so nobody can accuse him of interfering with the Mueller investigation, because it's now over.
We had George Papadopoulos on this program last weekend, and it sure sounded to me like there were informants thrown his way, even getting him a job from the International Center for Law Practice. They reached out to him on LinkedIn. They gave him a job, and then when he left in March of 2016, he said, "I'm leaving. I'm going to go work for the Trump campaign." They said, wait. Before you leave, we want to send you to Rome. We want to have this whole big paid vacation for you to go to Rome so that you could meet all these important people. They sent him to Rome so that he could meet this Joseph Mifsud, who just dropped that bomb on him, who said Russia has Hillary Clinton emails. So is that part of their strategy? This was an incredible strategy that they had. It wasn't just the dossier. It was informants. It was a media leak strategy. And it was anything that the media can take to take down the president.
Well, I think, right. I think here's the big point. Did they catch Papadopoulos working with the Russians, or did they start the narrative, put it in Papadopoulos' mind? Here's what I think happened. Papadopoulos wasn't working with the Russians. They created that narrative by telling him about emails being stolen by the Russians, and he was repeating what he was told by our own people. So there was never a situation where Papadopoulos was working with the Russians to try to affect the 2016 election. This was all a setup, I think, and we'll know more. We'll know more here soon.
Was it also a setup to set up Donald Trump Jr.? I mean, what is this subpoena of Donald Trump Jr. coming out of your colleagues and the Senate Intel Committee?
As I understand it, this subpoena relates to what Michael Cohen said about some meetings and about the Trump Tower in Russia. All I can say is that Richard Burr is a very good friend. He's trying hard to be bipartisan. But anything based on what Michael Cohen said is worthless testimony. Michael Cohen is a worthless witness. And if I were Donald Trump Jr., his lawyer, I would tell him, you don't need to go back into this environment anymore. You've been there for hours and hours and hours, and nothing being alleged here changes the outcome of the Mueller investigation. I would call it a day.
But look at how they're treating William Barr right now. They're trying to